All right, so here we are. We are on a precipice of the mostly peaceful riots or protests that's going on, and we see a mass formation psychosis that's going on in the public as we speak. And we're like, what is doing this? I mean, you guys probably know, but maybe this video will make it to somebody who is kind of learning the ropes and is trying to figure out where they're at in life. So I got Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, by the way, is a pioneer in discussion when it comes to Oprah Eat Your Heart Out talk shows. Oprah's an asshole. Joe Rogan actually, is finding his way through life as he gets older as well, and watching this manifestation of a person come to life from where he was 10 years ago. Uh, Anyhow, he has a guest on his show that talks about uh, Facebook and how they experiment on people through the means of altering algorithms for not necessarily favorable outcomes, but just to see what can happen. And I guess, to a sense, if you want to engineer society, however you gear the algorithm for what your preference is, would be a favorable outcome considering the actions of people. I want you to watch this quick little 1 minute video of a professor who dove into this, and it's very interesting, very interesting. It's quick little listen here. You know, so here we go.
There's a famous Facebook experiment I read about in that took place in 2012 and was published in 2014, where they announced that they've achieved mass emotional contagion at scale, which showed that people exposed to it when they altered, so they took 700,000 users or 693,000, I think, without informing them, but because your user agreement does agree, make it whenever you go on the platform, you agree to be tested or A/B testing. So this experiment exposed a group to their news feed was altered in a negative direction emotionally, as measured by word counting software. And they discovered that that group that had a negative exposure also responded in a more negative way, as judged through their posts and likes and responses. The group that was exposed to a more positive news feed by altering the algorithm then had also a measurably statistically significant effect of more positive emotional response, and the control group was unaltered
Whoa.
by this.
Very interesting. Very much interesting. So I talk to my daughter a lot about this kind of stuff when it comes to when it comes to she's getting into the age of messing with internet and stuff like that, and video games, these free video games that they have online that you can can download for a little app, seem harmless. They seem like, it's a Candy Crush app, or it's a this, that, and the other, and you kind of just something to kill a little bit of time. But massive amounts of data gets harvested when doing so, because you heard her talk about how they were measuring it by the way they post, but trust me, they actually got a lot more information than just the way people posted it, how they reacted to the information that was exposed to them, which would be a natural reaction considering what we are or what we see and hear. But your phone itself is able to uh, get biometric data from you in a way that you would never believe. I mean, I'll break it down real simply. You can download an app that you can monitor your sleep patterns and how well you sleep and things that you can improve on. And it can give you, data on your heart rate, your breathing rate, times you might have woke up, different things like that. And the phone's not even connected to you; it's just sitting on your nightstand, and it can understand all that. Your phone has a camera in the front as much as it does the rear, and that camera can be accessed at any given moment. And AI is employed in a lot of these applications to where it's able to read micro movements in your facial expressions that are subconscious that you don't even realize you're doing. Much like a body language expert would read body language as you subconsciously move and change your position and your eye and your facial expressions, considering your state of mind. That's, like I say, you don't even know you're doing it. And whenever your thought process takes place, things can change in your bodies. body temperature, blood flow in different areas. So while you're holding this phone, it's actually measuring body temperature. It's reading your temperature on your face because it can do infrared just as much as it can anything else, and it can understand where, wow, okay, this, say for instance, if you wanted to turn a group of people into a racist, all you'd have to do is just expose them to a bunch of content that's not favorable for considering what would make them be that way, and then you would be able to dial that content in by watching their facial expressions and how their body temperature changes. In other words, how they react to that situation. And if you keep feeding them that content in the right way, in the right times, in the right, just pulsing them with content that keeps feeding that rage, eventually you could engineer a society to be very angry. And I often sit there and go, well, is this a product of what we see with these peaceful protests? Or better yet, all these people who get on their social media and talk about how much they hate such and so and people and all that stuff. It's, these people are only acting out from what they've been exposed to and what they've been told to think. And, we tend to find our own path if we're allowed to. But if we find an easy path to kill our day with social media, looking at posts and all that, the algorithm that's going to feed to you is going to screw with you. And, you know, I just want to get that out there because the world needs to know. People just don't think about stuff like that. And so, yeah, please share this out. Thank you very much, guys, and have a wonderful day.